All right, here we go. It is, what is it, Tuesday morning. I hope Monday started out awesome. I hope tomorrow's twice as good as today. And we're going to talk about how to win today, how to make today super smoking great. And one thing I want to talk about right off the bat about this, I was thinking about it last night as I was preparing for my day. And, I'm going through all these gymnastics, thoughts, strategies, programs, stuff about how to excel and do more. What do I tell my people? All this stuff. I mean, I've got, Rube Goldberg would ask me for a map, for God's sake. And then it occurred to me, I kind of woke up in the middle of the night and it occurred to me that you're overthinking this, dude. The way this works, when you're a real estate agent, you make your money buying and selling real estate, helping people buy and sell real estate. Here's what you got to remember. Keep in mind at all times. Keep this easy. This is so freaking easy, people. Number one, there are people that need to buy and sell real estate today in the markets that you operate in. I'll promise you that, assuming you have a wide enough market. But there are people that are going to buy and sell and list real estate today. Okay. Second thing I know, it's a very complex purchase when you buy and sell real estate. There's a lot of parts, which is why there's lawyers, which is why there's title, which is why there's deeds, inspections, re-inspections, a lot of stuff. So it's hard. Okay. So people are going to buy and it's hard. Third thing I know for absolute certainty is there's a heck of a lot of money involved in a sale and purchase of a home. And all this creates is a massive amount of stress, because the fifth thing, are we on 5? The fifth thing I know is most people don't buy and sell homes often enough to the point where they're good at it or feel comfortable that they're good at it. So they're going to hire a realtor. It's the way it is, right? So it's that easy. People are buying and selling houses. It's hard to buy and sell a house. It's complex. It's confusing. There's a lot of money and stress, and people aren't good at it because they don't do it very often. But you as a realtor, do it. And hopefully you do it often. So then the next question I started to figure out is why, who are they going to hire then? They're not going to do it themselves. They're going to hire a realtor. So we all know this, right? They hire somebody they know, like, and trust. The secret is out on that little formula, right? They're going to hire somebody they know, like, and trust. And so, all right, the next logical step is, all right, how does somebody get to know, like, and trust you? And again, do not overthink this, people. It's as easy as this. They're going to know, like, and trust you because they see you around. They see your signs. They see your postcards. They see your social media. They hear your voice if you call them on the phone. They see your face and hear your voice if you knock on their door. If you have an open house, if you're circulating in your marketplace, you're known. Okay? That's how you're going to get known. You're going to be recognized as somebody. Now, the second thing you can do on that aspect is provide value. Provide value. And don't overthink this either. People want to know, how much is my place worth? How much am I going to spend if I buy one? What's the market? Is it going up or down? Right there. And maybe what are the trends? Should I buy now or should I wait? Should I sell now or should I wait? You can answer those basic questions on a regular basis, because that's the next step. If you're around and you're providing value and you're on a regular, consistent basis, that's where the trust comes in. They recognize you. They believe you're somebody of substance that can help them. And now they trust you because you've been there and you be there. Easy as that. Easy as that, people. So how do you do it? How do you do it? I don't know. I like to call them on the phone. You can knock on their door. You can do open houses. You can send them postcards, something in the mail, email, text message. There's a lot of ways. Open houses with signs everywhere is a good way to do it. And we've talked about it, there's a million ways. Sponsor cleanup of the neighborhood, sponsor a coat drive, sponsor food drive, sponsor me, whatever, right? Something. That's how you get in front of people. So yeah, is it hard to sell real estate? Maybe. It's simple. Maybe it's hard, but it's a fairly simple thing. find something of value, study the MLS, go on a preview property, right? Know what you're talking about, and be everywhere. Now, you can't be everywhere, but you can be everywhere in a small somewhere, right? Pick a neighborhood, is what I'm saying, and be everywhere in that neighborhood all the time. You'll get known. Provide value, they'll trust you, right? Ask them questions about them rather than tell them about you, and they'll like you. There's your winning ticket. Mark, you got anything more on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the simplicity is we can provide information, access, and service. Those are the three things that we have: information, access, and service. And through that process, we just have we've got to think in terms of we help people accomplish their goals. And that's a simple question of what are your goals? And from a consultative standpoint, if we're not putting ourselves in that position to have that conversation, to listen, and then have the skills to help people accomplish their goals, we're going to struggle. But if we are relating in such a way that we're identifying that, and we can bring our information, our access to properties and service, we're going to do all right. But it is, we can overcomplicate it.
No doubt. And the reason why we overcomplicate it is I think it's a form of lead generation reluctance. Make it really hard. We're planning, get ready, more planning, more. And then pretty soon, well, tomorrow, right? Destiny, tell me about your experience.
Well, my experience now is I'm just trying to get in front of more people to stay top of mind for them, and that's by calling the same neighborhood. I do my rounds and then I circle back to it, a month later and get that name recognition. I'm starting to actually get that. And then the project that I'm working on now is kind of becoming the mayor of my neighborhood and farming that neighborhood with the Facebook group and creating value in my own neighborhood so that my signs are the ones that go up in their yards.
Love it. So let me ask you something. I hear this all the time. What do you say to people? You're talking to them once a month. I mean, aren't you bothering them? Are you bugging them? Is it pestering them? There's no way I could talk to somebody that often. Mm-hmm. Do you fight that?
I do sometimes, but I've learned that when they're ready for me to stop calling, they'll tell me. It's not always so nice, but they'll say, hey, I don't need you. Don't call me anymore. Don't call me. Don't contact me. Never call me again. But until they tell me that, I keep calling or texting or emailing.
Love it. Love it. Another thing I know a coach told me one time is as long as you're bringing value, you can call them once an hour and they'll love you if you're bringing value. No value, you can call them once every 20 years. They don't care. Mm-hmm. Bring value, people, is my point. Yeah. Julie, what do you think?
When you're not working with a client and when you're not lead genning, be learning. So you've got to completely increase your knowledge and not your memorization of facts, but your actual knowledge of the contract, of the process, of the market, of everything. And start small, start really small, so you really are the expert. Start with a neighborhood where you know everything that is included. Is there an HOA? Is there not an HOA? Can you have short-term rentals? What's the minimum? You've got to know, what are some of the basic standards that are within that neighborhood. And then also you have to know the contract inside out and backwards so that, for example, I think the most basic and least expensive way for a new agent to get started, which is a lot of agents, is open houses. And when people come to the open house, instead of getting right up in their face, now, first of all, I'll back up and say, you have 10, 15 signs out there with your name, your phone number, and a picture of you so that is your brand and they recognize it. And you do it every 2, 3, 4 days a week. That is a moving billboard within that farm or that area that people get to see. You buy the signs once and you just keep moving them around. People keep seeing you and now you're the expert in that farm. But then when they come into your open house, they already recognize you. So you already have a little bit of, we talk about marketing and 7 impressions is the minimum before people recognize you. I've had people walk into my open house and act like they know me just like they would on social media.
That's weird.
And I've never met them before. So then when they are there, you like John says, you offer value. You've studied the market. You know that neighborhood. You know what's included in the HOA. You know what the taxes are. You know all the things that they want to know. Now they're going to follow up with you when they're ready to sell. So just be always learning and start small and be very focused on a niche.
Well,
So-
and, I would just say to Julie's point is a good simple question is if you have a contract there and just ask, are you familiar with the contracts when it's time to write an offer? It's something that gives you an opportunity to just even say, there's a residential contract for sale and purchase and an as-is contract. If you have any questions around these, be happy to share with that. Let's set up a time. It's something that you don't say it in a way that they feel stupid, but they begin to see you as the expert.
Yeah, I always think that everything that I have at an open house, it's not just a flyer. I have things with my name and phone number on them, so that I'll give them ice cream scoops that have my name and phone number on them, so that they have my name, because they're not going to keep your flyer. But on the backs of flyers, I have trends in the market and information that they care about long-term, like over 20 years, and current. And then they ask questions instead of me chasing them around. They say, what is this? And then they engage you in a conversation. And then you are able to demonstrate your expert knowledge in this area and your credibility. Then they walk into another open house, or they get another mailer, or they deal with another realtor, and they don't see that level of expertise.
What if you put a class or a Q&A on your website that'll explain contracts, that'll explain the things you're talking about, the trends or whatever, and you simply get their email and tell them you'll send them a link?
I get 100% of the phone numbers.
Yeah.
I get most of the emails. I ask them if they want information. I wait for them to ask. And I might know, how old is the AC? I'm not sure. Is that important to you? And they'll say, yes. Okay, let me get the best email and I'll get that information and get back to you.
Perfect. So Jesse's wondering about the do not call list, right? It's always there. Don't call anybody on the do not call list and get yourself in trouble with that. What we do, I have a lot of people already subscribed into our world, so I don't really worry about the do not call list that much because I've got a pretty big database already. On the new people, though, it's a little bit of a thing for us. What you're going to want to do, how do you handle it, Mark?
So I think a couple things. One is when we're using our dialer, we do just check the box of eliminate the do not call and cast a wider net. But there are times where you can make phone calls that are non-solicitory. You cannot cross that line, but it's informative. You can call and say there's going to be increased traffic in the neighborhood, and we're calling as a courtesy to let you know. You can do surveys, but you can't cross over into that line of, hey, would you like to meet?
Yeah, be careful on that.
You got to be careful.
Because I think you have to be a survey company to do surveys.
Does anyone have any experience of being turned in or punished?
So when you look at, I have not. I will tell you this: that when you look at the rule, it's you have to have called twice within a period of time, and most of those people that are getting tagged, they have these robo dialers that keep calling and calling and calling. So if you call and somebody says remove me, and you remove them, and you don't call back within a period of time, you can Google that. That repetitive calling is what gets you in trouble.
Love it. Here's the thing: do open houses, door knock, put information out there to garner people's contact info and start building. It's going to take longer to build your database, but it's going to be a better database anyway. I would do that. Okay. I know that's not a great answer, but I don't know.
I prefer to only call a scrub list. That way I can have the more intentional conversation that I want to have.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I was saying I prefer to only call from a scrub list. That way I can have
that's the best way to do it.
conversation that I really want to have with them,
Yeah, I would say two things. Call from a scrub list. And number two is don't I'm not going to say completely don't worry about it, but there are so many companies that, I mean, how many people in this call yesterday got a spam call or a robo? I get them every single.
We can't tell you that though. I'm not. Don't.
And I'm not saying that
pay
that's.
attention to it. I'm telling you, pay attention.
I'm just saying don't use. I'm afraid of calling people, so I'm not going to do it as an excuse. They will tell you, I'm on the do not call. I don't want to be there. I don't want you to bug me. So don't call again. That's it. It's a big process to prosecute someone and to get them. They have to call. They have to turn you in, all this kind of stuff. So hang up and call the next.
That's a real world. I'm also going to give you the real world. Don't do it. I don't want to get sued. Do not call anybody at the do not call list.
Right.
There you go. We got that part in, right?
Well, I think something that I would add is one of the approaches that I like to do with an open house and I coach to is create a Google folder with on your Google Drive that you just always are putting tons of value. And then you can move in property specific. And when somebody comes in and they say, what about this? Say, let me share with you my Google folder that has all of this value. And it's just a treasure trove of value. Let me text it to you and you can have access to it. And so you've got your constant collateral material in it, and then your property specific. And that gives you an opportunity to say, let me email it as well. So if you want to access this from a desktop, those kind of pieces help you get more contact.
Yep. And Jesse, if you put out a lot of good content, whether it's open houses, whether it's in postcards or phone calls or whatever it is, with a ask, contact me for more information, then you'll get their info. And once you have their info, you have their info. Kyle says if they get mad, blame it on COVID. Right on. I blame everything on COVID. Literally.
Yeah,
all right. So anyway, hey, Kyle was right here about this thing. Is that important to you? That is smart. People, this is a skills-based profession. If you're skillful, you take little questions about the HVAC and you turn them into.
To address that a little further, Kyle, I look for opportunities where specific to the house or something about the neighborhood. I'm not going to use the first question they ask, but I look for opportunities to have the answer of I don't know. And I teach that. That is a very specific thing that I teach in my Impossible to Fail class, which is an open house class. And it's, I don't know. Is that important to you? Because that qualifies them in a couple of places. If they say, no, it's not really important to me, I was just testing your skills or something. That's not exactly what they're going to say, but they'll say, no, not really, blah, blah, blah. But when they say, yes, it is, it says, I'm actually interested in this house, or I'm actually interested in this neighborhood, or I'm, by saying, I don't know, is that important to you? You're getting an answer. You're opening up the dialogue with them. And then you're getting the opportunity when they say yes to say, great, let me get the best email and I'm going to get the information for you and I'll email it to you.
I love that because that's like judo. They're coming at you with something and you're seeing if I can move them in the direction that I want to go. And that's just, it's brilliant.
Just learn, I don't know, is that important to you? Memorize that. I don't know, is that important to you? That's one of my best scripts at an open house.
Well, I think it's also just a great way to get the lead because now you've got their email and their information, and for me, I don't print flyers anymore. When they come into an open house and they want the flyer because they're used to it. Oh, my printer ran out of ink today. Let me email it to you. And so
I do print them, and they're very specific, but they're
is a handout important to you?
on the back. The basic information is on the front, but my flyers are an advertising opportunity for me. They're another picture of my team, my brand. So it's remember the 7 impressions. So there's the sign, there's coming into the house, there's the flyer, there's the little pieces of information that I give them that they take away with my information. But on the back is trends and information about the market and the community that makes them ask questions.
Love it.
Perfect. All right. So let's just kind of regroup. There's a lot of stuff on here today. Good job, guys. Appreciate this. So let's see. Here's what I want to do to win the day. Recognize today, every day, always, there are people that are going to buy and sell houses. Don't talk yourself, nobody's doing nothing. The only one not doing nothing is you. Okay. There are people out there that are going to buy and sell and list property today. Make sure they're going to do it with you. All right. Now, remember this, buying and selling a house is hard. It's technical. It's confusing. There's jeopardy. You can get thrown in jail. You can get fines. I'm talking you, the buyer, the seller, a lot of folks. There's a lot of stuff going on at all times. There's a ton of money at risk. I don't want to spend too much. I don't want to leave money on the table. I don't want to get sued, all that stuff. There's a lot of jeopardy that causes a lot of stress. And most people don't sell or buy enough properties where they're good at it. So they need you. So we know that they're going to buy and sell and list property. We know they need a qualified person, a real estate expert. And then the question is, how are they going to find you? Or are you going to find them? You got to they're going to use somebody they know, like, and trust. How do you get known? You be everywhere all the time. You be recognizable, your face, your likeness, your image, all that stuff, everywhere all the time. They can hear you, see you, feel like they know you, even though we've never met. How do you get liked? Ask them a bunch of questions about them, less about you, more about them, and folks are going to like you. How do you gain trust? You be there on a consistent basis. They know you were there, they know you're there now, and they know you're going to be there in the future. It's that time and consistency are going to be your friends. And if you play that game in time, over time, you will create a business that you're quite proud of. Not only will you be quite proud of it, it'll be very lucrative, and it'll be something you can sell to somebody else, which is even better. Try to shortcut it other ways around. It's going to be harder. It's going to be harder, I think. So, yeah. Bianca says, add a recipe on your material so they want to put it on your fridge. Okay, I'll buy that. If you're living in the South, put the SEC football schedule. They'll like that. Yeah, interesting. All right, what do you guys got? Mark, take us on a last thought.
Hey, look, this is everything that we've dropped is gold. And what you say all the time is you want a career, not a year. And these are the disciplines that you must do. And look, the deals are in the discipline. Discipline is the deal.
For sure. Destiny, what are your last thoughts?
My last thoughts are just find a way, be creative in a way that you can always stay in front of people and stay top of mind for the people you're working with.
Julie?
Just keep increasing your knowledge so that you are valuable, and so that you're not trying to be valuable, but you actually are valuable.
Cool. All right, I'll bring one last thought. When you find yourself doubting, questioning, wondering, scared, confused, just simplify. Simplify your whole everything. Just talk to people about where they are in the ownership process. Are you a buyer, a seller, or an owner, right? In the way I do that, I use a just listed or a just sold. Or Mike Ferry did this long ago. I remember this. Do something good and tell the world what you did. Hey, we just listed another house in your neighborhood. Curious who you know I'd like to buy. Way you go. Hey, we just sold another house in your neighborhood. And I know when we sell one, a couple more getting ready to come on the market. Curious, when do you plan on moving? That's it. Simple as that. You just start talking to people. Help the right now people, and put a good follow-up program in place, and you will grow your business. All right? That's how you're going to win the day. That's how you win your career. Talk to you tomorrow, people. Let's go to work.
Bye, guys.
Take care.